for that ball because it's free. It's going to be Maryland's ball now, but Reggie Jackson, of course, had a chance to overtake that.
He certainly did, and there we see again perhaps the Duke team not used to Kenny Denard's play. He gets the ball very quickly, gives it back, and I don't think his teammates were ready for it, and Gene Banks particularly that time. The ball went out of bounds. Gene Banks trying to save it.
Maryland leads 2-0. Terrapins here with the ball. We played a little over a minute. Duke now in a zone, maybe just for the inbounds. There's Graham out of the corner hitting for Maryland. And the Terrapins have the first 2 baskets of the game to lead 4-0. Back in a 1-2-2 zone. Maryland, who normally opens man for man, starting out with a zone here against Duke. Outside, Bender's been hot lately. Bobby Bender been hitting that perimeter shot. That's the first basket for Duke. 4-2 Maryland. Still man for man. There's Buck Williams going in on Jaminski with a spin shot and a foul on the play by Jaminski. Scored every AC center against whom he's played. Ralph Sampson, Jaminski, Nance, all of them. Now they're going to count that. There was a lane violation by Maryland, and so Williams is down to 1 shot. That would have been a 1-and-1. Maryland had to give up the ball. The fans getting on Lefty a little bit. Oh, Buck Williams is going to be counted 1 for 1 in that case. 5-2, 3-point lead by Maryland. Maryland still in a zone. Duke may have to go some outside shooting here. Apparently they want to bottle up Jaminski inside. The lob blocked away by Buck Williams. I'm surprised they tried that over Williams. 5-2 Maryland. Here goes Graham breaking under to Manning on a beautiful play, and Maryland is up by 5.
Another excellent fast break. That time Ernest Graham very alertly hitting Manning under the basket.
Here goes Bender. He has the only points thus far. Now he's 2 for 2 from way outside. 7-4 Maryland.
2 very important baskets for Duke, too, because the best way to break up a zone defense or a zone plan is to hit that outside shot early. And, of course, he's hit 2 for Duke thus far.
Here's Buck Williams rolling off that post, firing it right up both Jaminski, and there's a foul on the outside. He wound up outscoring him 18-17 in a close battle. And remember, Maryland won that game 101-82. Now Williams has 5 points early in the game. Should have had 6, had a free throw nullified. 9-4, and Maryland leads by 5 again. Jaminski's pass stolen away by Manning. Twice they've tried the lob, Duke has. Each time it's soured on them, and Maryland comes back down court with a 5-point lead. This Maryland team's distinguished itself this year with team play. Buck Williams right over Jaminski again. In, out. Got robbed again on that one. Banks with a strong rebound. There's the man who's provided all the attack for Duke, Bob Bender. Denard, foul pass flicked inside. That was off a Duke teammate's hand. And Maryland gets the ball, leading 9-4. Maryland looks pretty sharp, Jeff.
They're playing excellent defense thus far, and their offense is very alert right now.
And a foul on Denard. I thought for this year, 9-2 in the ACC. 2 shots to Ernie Graham.
Amazing statistic in Maryland's press guide today, Jim. Lefty Driesell has won 19 games, 8 out of his 9 seasons at Maryland. It's quite an accomplishment.
That it is. Maybe his best job this year, though. 10-4. There's the biggest Maryland lead. Now 6 points. Here's the quick break by Duke. And Manning cuts off Taylor. And the shot blocked down by Graham. Here's Manning on the fast break. Collide to midcourt, and there's the foul on Denard. Denard on the collision. Not a game, but he's back today. 10-4. Maryland in the lead. Lefty Driesell. Reggie Jackson doesn't shoot that often, much like Bender, although Bender's been shooting more lately. Graham thought he could take Denard. Here goes Graham penetrating on the inside. Rebound is tipped off to Jaminski, and the foul will be on Ernest Graham. Tried to crash the boards. Second foul on Maryland. First one on Graham. Another great year for Mike Jaminski. Leads the ACC bid both scoring and rebounding. We played 4 minutes, and Duke's offensive output's been a pair of long shots by Bob Bender. Have not been able to get the ball inside, maybe because of this Maryland zone has really collapsed around Jaminski. Denard outside the zone.
You're very true so far, Jim.
Buck Williams hooking over Jaminski. Boy, Williams looks like he can't wait to get against Jaminski. That's 7 points for him. 12-6. 6-point lead by Maryland. Still in a 1-2-2 zone.
Good strategy by the Maryland team on offense with Williams, because Mike's he's not used to being challenged in there, and it kind of surprises him.
There goes Banks, fouled on the play by Graham. And he's going to get the basket and a possible three-point play. Second foul on Ernest Graham.
Here's Gene Banks with a lane to the basket. Graham trying to recover, but he was out of position all the way. Buck Williams coming over, but he too was there too late, and a good strong move by Gene Banks.
And he's at full strength now. He's had the pull most on his back, but he goes down here. Less than 5 minutes gone in the game, and he's back on the bench. Maybe because of the 2 fouls. Banks, three-point play try. That'll cut the Maryland lead to 3. Zone press now by Maryland, or by Duke. They get it over to Manning.
Maryland very poised against the press. Not in a hurry. All their players get the ball, look carefully, and they just move the ball up the floor very patiently.
Really haven't seen Albert King or Mike Jaminski get into the game yet by either team. 12-9 the score. Maryland leads by 3. The fireworks been by Buck Williams. An outside shooting of Duke. There's a violation, and Duke will get the ball. Now they're saying Jaminski has only 1 foul.
I believe that was the first time Albert King has touched the ball on offense.
12-9. Only 1 foul against just Banks on the inside. Be intercepted by Manning. And Maryland back 5-on-2. Manning feeding it over to Graham, and Graham has worked inside, reverse layup, and will be tipped up by Williams and fouled on the play. Nope. It's off a Maryland player.
Good inside hands by Gene Banks. Buck Williams getting the rebound. Graham missing the shot here. Had a pretty easy shot, laid it up a little too hard. Williams going up strong, but Gene Banks stealing it on the way up. And off Williams' foot.
Right off his foot. 12-9. Duke's got a chance to get back within 1 point. Pitsaw is in. England's in, replacing Taylor. Against the zone, they want to get some firepower in there. England's good outside shooter. Here he is.
As you mentioned earlier, Jim, Maryland doing a good job of clogging that middle up and keeping the ball on the perimeter.
Denard, a good passer. England penetrating, sets up Banks. Now Banks beginning to take charge for Duke. 12-11. The Blue Devils cut it down to 1 and never led in the game. Maryland's been up by as much as 6. Man for man by contrast to the other end. They want to get the ball to Albert King. King fakes, goes up over Banks. Banks fouls him. First foul.
A little quicker.
Well, he's going for his 500th point of the season right here, and it's almost money in the bank the way he free throws. He had 30 straight, setting a Maryland record. Missed one, had 16 in a row. 13-11. Missed another one. Now he's hit his last 2. That was his 500th point of the year. 2 by King, and it's 14-11. And now Maryland a little full court zone press. Duke set up for that. No problem with it. England on the break to Jaminski banking. First basket by Jaminski. 14-13. Duke again back within a point. Getting very close to a 5-second call there. Duke really putting on pressure here with a man-to-man defense. Now there's Williams backing in on Jaminski. Fires it. Rebound Jaminski. Rips it off for Duke. Duke got a chance to lead for the first time. Denard driving in. That'll be a charge on Denard. Now that's 3 fouls by our count on Kenny Denard. And that's it. 3 fouls on him. Williams had him set up perfectly.
That was not a smart play by Kenny. Buck Williams was there. He didn't have any place to go. He could have pulled up for a little 12-footer, but instead decided to go all the way, and Buck Williams very alertly drew the charge.
And a costly foul for Duke, because Denard with 3 is going to have to sit down now, and then to replace him will be Alan Williams, a freshman from Princeton, West Virginia, 6'8". Doesn't have the playing experience of Ray Denard, of course. 14-13, Maryland's lead is 1 point. King driving. King firing. Rebound. Jaminski cannot hold it. Stolen away by England. There are 4 players back for Maryland against 5 for Duke. They should get somebody open, and it is Alan Williams off the pass by Banks, and a foul on the play. Will be on Ernest Graham. It gives Maryland a bigger lineup with Baldwin in there, and this could move Williams to power forward. And we'll see what this does with the defensive matchups. Alan Williams at the line for Duke. Played well, Jeff, for a young freshman.
He's been a good reserve for this Duke team. Has had some great offensive games and seems to do a good job defensively, too.
Got a chance to give Duke its first lead of the ball game. It's 14-14 with 12:34 to go in the first half. And Duke leads, first time of the game. Zone press by Duke. Here's Reggie Jackson now running into a little bit of trouble. Fires at Banks, trying to intercept it, but goes out of bounds on the attempt. It'll still be Maryland's ball. Now Lefty pointing out to his players what he wants them to do against the press.
I think one of the dangers against the press is your teammates leave you, and I think Lefty was reminding Albert King to stay in the backcourt, help out, be a release valve, because that time Jackson got stuck.
Duke now in a zone here after the inbounds pass in midcourt. Albert King really hasn't gotten in the flow of things much, just as Mike Jaminski hasn't really for Duke, although he did well after coming off the bench. Here goes King, nice fake, ball blocked out. Mike Jaminski on the save. Duke in the lead by 1, 15-14. And Gene Banks driving, feeds it to Alan Williams. 2 beautiful feeds by Banks.
Perfect example of penetration to the basket. The defensive man came to Banks, and he found Alan Williams open for the short 5-foot jump shot.
17-14. Duke up by 3 with its biggest lead yet. Buck Williams, now Manning, wide open. That's only a half a free throw for Manning.
What a phenomenal season he's having, leading the league in field goal percentage. A guard doing that is a remarkable feat.
Been a long time. I can't recall, and I'm sure there has been in this league. There goes Bender driving through, but there's a foul reaching in by Baldwin. After less than 9 minutes of action. Opening game won by Wake Forest over Georgia Tech. Clemson playing host to North Carolina State this afternoon. And tonight, Jeff, another big one. Virginia, North Carolina.
That should be another great basketball game, and what a day in the ACC.
Maryland leading the league at 9-2. Looking for one more win to clinch at least a tie for first place. Inbounds play here will be by Duke. A foul occurred before they shot, so there'll be no free throwing. Maryland set in the zone. Have a front line of Williams, Baldwin, and King. Ernest Graham in foul trouble, so is Kenny Denard of Duke. Banks, Jaminski right by him. Boy, he whistled that pass. Jaminski cut back door, and the passing lane was there, Jeff. He put a little mustard on that one.
He was open. I think Mike was expecting it up high as the high lob. Instead, Gene Banks drilled it about chest high, and Mike just wasn't ready for it.
Now Duke in a zone. This is a change, and Banks waiting for that one. They tried a weak side pass to Baldwin. Banks picked it off. Blocked down by Reggie Jackson. Bender was going to go for the lob. These teams are getting wary of these lob passes that go for the big men. Banks eyeing on the inside. Long one by Bender again. Short this time. Reggie Jackson off on the fast break for Maryland. Oh, right off the hands of Albert King. Turned right back to Duke. Duke 17-16 and a 1-point lead.
Maryland has swatted 3 high lobs away so thus far, and it's a testimony to their defense. They're very quick. They got good quick hands on their front line as well as their guards, and they've been getting some hands in the passing lane.
Jaminski away from the basket now. Manning on a quick outlet pass from King. Here's the break by Maryland. There's King dropping under here to Baldwin for the stuff. And Maryland's had the transitional basket so far in this game, Jeff.
They've done a great job with their fast breaks and their semi-fast breaks, and they are very unselfish. Albert King had a 12-footer, passed it up for a layup by Baldwin.
Maryland back in the lead, 18-17, the midway point in the first half. Now Jaminski low on Baldwin. Little ball handling problems. Finally gets off his hook shot. And there's Buck Williams coming down with another rebound. He's second only Gminski in game average on rebounds. Because of that early season injury, doesn't have the games necessary to be eligible for the percentage lead, but he will before the year's over, counting the tournament. Buck Williams, number 52. Maryland now playing again with the lead. Duke trying to put a little pressure on the outside from their zone defense. They started in a man-for-man, but now they're back to this 2-3 zone that they use so much.
I think with Denard out of there, Duke would like to play the zone because Alan Williams would have to guard either Buck Williams or Albert King, and that might be a big chore for the freshman. By staying in the zone, they're taking some of that defensive pressure off. On the other hand, I think Lefty's saying, let's get them out of that zone and let's make them guard us. And they're content to pass the ball around the outside of this zone.
Well, now they're going to send King at the free throw line. Why? When he gets to the inside at the high, he's very tough from that position.
Albert King is one of those great players that can turn around and shoot just about over anybody, including Mike Gminski. And when he gets that ball in the lane, he is a real threat for the Maryland team.
Right there. That's his spot. In, out. Rebound Williams. Baldwin fouled him. You saw him reaching across. Second foul on Baldwin, and team foul number 6 now against Maryland. Remember, 3 of them were against Ernest Graham. That's why he's not on the floor. Same reason Kenny Denard's been rested. Coaches up and down along the sidelines.
Vince Taylor has come in for Alan Williams, so Duke now has a 3-guard offense attack in there now. A little quicker, so they may put some more man-to-man pressure on the Maryland team now.
I got Taylor, England, and Bender with Banks and Gminski. An imposing lineup. Bender had a shot there, but a little ball handling problem. Weak side passes over the head of Gminski. 18-17. Maryland leads by a point with 8 minutes to go in the half. I think this one's going to go all the way, Jeff.
I think Coach Bill Foster might say, let's forget the lob pass today because they haven't been able to do much with it except throw it away.
Been about 0 for 5 or 1 for 5 with it. Maryland very deliberate here against Duke since they went into the zone defense. They were successful. Oh, there's Albert King flashing inside, ball batted away from him, and a reach-in foul by Bender. First foul on Bob Bender. 92% of his free throws against ACC teams.
And I've seen a few of them come at the end of the games the last couple of weeks, Jim, where they're real pressure, and it doesn't seem to bother him one bit.
No, he's a clutch player. Jeff, you're a great free thrower. You like Albert's style here?
Well, I noticed, Jim, that he has a rhythm. You notice he likes to receive the ball back from the line and then step up. He won't move up to the line until he has the ball in his hand. And a lot of good free throwers have a superstitious rhythm, and I think Albert King is one. I used to bounce the ball 13 times to get my rhythm.
Nothing. There's Morley. Boy, he anticipated that pass. Dutch Morley driving in. Oh, Brewster layup. Height of embarrassment. Dutch Morley made a nifty steal, and Manning back the other way again for Maryland. Manning feeds it to Morley for the layup, and it's tipped up inside and in by King. The fans thought there was a travel on that play by Manning, and it was close at midcourt, but Maryland's back up by 5 quickly. 22-17. They've scored the last 6 points. Maryland zoning. Gene Banks on a penetration, scores in this foul. Foul on Albert King. First one on him.
Involved in the offense.
Could be his second 3-point play here in the first half. Trying to cut the margin down to 2 points. 22-20, 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Now full court pressure by Duke. Dutch Morley quickly double team. Albert King spots Manning open. Now Manning coming down. Baldwin is there. Here's Baldwin backing on, and Gminski cut off. Baldwin now fires it cross court. King tries to save it, and is taken by Taylor. Taylor coming on Morley. Blocked by Morley. What a play. Dutch Morley, just a sensational play against the quick Vince Taylor.
And that's what Vince Taylor likes to do on the open floor, but Morley, Vince got a little careless with the ball. One hand there, and Morley alertly slapped it out of his hands. Had he protected the ball and gone up strong with 2 hands, I don't think he'd have had any problem.
That was a clean shot on the ball. Gminski on the hook for Duke. Duke has tied it up at 22-22. Now that's twice the Blue Devils have fought back. They trail by 6 and went ahead. They trail by 5 and they've tied it. Albert King cannot get on track against Banks. Fires over him. Rebound. Jaminski can't hold it. And it's off Baldwin to Duke. Now Manning will get a rest as Reggie Jackson returns. The first game back for Manning since his ankle injury against Boston University. Dutch Morley got a chance to play the next game and set his career record, 16 points. 22-22. Now Duke looking for the lead. They've been up by as much as 3. Vince Taylor penetrating, partially blocked, pulled down by Baldwin. Oh, now Maryland has a chance to go, and it is Reggie Jackson driving, and he is fouled by Bender. Bender on 2 shots, are 1 and 1. Same hometown as Gene Banks, Philadelphia. Jaminski has it down, and Banks coming on the fast break. King is there. Banks driving. 10 points for Gene Banks. Duke is back in the lead, 24-22.
Albert King was there to draw the charge, but Banks just jumped around him, kind of a lateral jump and a great layup shot by Gene Banks.
Oh, he has tremendous control. Banks, here goes Buck Williams out of the corner. Rebound on the inside by Alan Williams. Duke now's got a chance to get his biggest lead of the game. Banks driving. Banks fires it to Jaminski. Left-hand hook.
Again, Gene Banks with the pass inside to Jaminski, and an excellent move by Mike. I think he wanted to shoot with his right hand, but it was blocked off, and he had to throw it up left-handed and made the basket.
Biggest lead of the game by Duke, 4 points. 4:50 to go in the first half. Blue Devils and Lefty wants a timeout here with 4:45 to go. Maryland's going to ask for a timeout. Mike may have him by a couple of inches. But I guess that's the average, isn't it?
Well, I think the game has grown that much.
Yeah, I would think.
Believe me, Lenny Chapel seemed this big 15 years ago.
Maybe bigger. 26-22. Duke up by 4. Now Duke back to man-for-man defense. All right, Banks has done a great job on King. I think that's been one of the big features of this game so far. He has shut off Albert King. Only 1 basket. 26-22. Lob inside. Buck Williams gets a lob. He got that lob in traffic. I'll never know. A pretty play. 26-24.
When he goes up to grab that basketball, he grabs it with authority, as he did that time right in traffic.
Boy, does he have some hands. Now he's guarding Banks. And they got Baldwin on Jaminski, and he gets by Baldwin. Jaminski does. Rebound by King. Maryland's got a chance to tie. Albert King, there's Buck Williams hooking down the inside. Oh, this could be goaltending. Let's see. It is. They're going to call goaltending and a foul on the play. First half each. 3-point chance for Buck Williams now that could put his team back in the lead. And it's still tied. Rebound tipped up, and the foul is on Albert King. King gets his second personal foul, and that's going to be Duke going to the line now for the 1-and-1 the first time.
Should have done a better job of blocking out.
All right, Jaminski has great credentials too. 84% of his free throws. Been in double figures now for about 8 or 10, 28 straight games, as a matter of fact. Missed a chance for the bonus free throws to leave Duke on top by just 1 point. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Maryland now looking to regain the lead with a basket. That's a fascinating matchup. Baldwin now fouled by Williams.
For this Maryland team, he comes in and gives relief to any one of the 3 Maryland starters on the front line and does a very good job for the Maryland team.
Buck Williams has the rebound down for Maryland, tied up, and it's going to be Duke's ball. So Duke will get the ball on the jump ball situation. Remember, Maryland controlled the opening tap-off, and on the alternation, it now goes to Duke. Duke leading by a point, 27-26. Williams driving, Williams inside, block put up by Banks. Banks on the follow. Great first half by Gene Banks, 12 points. 3-point lead by Duke, 29-26. Here's Manning cutting off a screen. Manning firing on the inside, but Gminski on the block again. On the fast break, Bender driving. Great block by Gminski. Set it up for Duke.
Blocking the ball forward as he did, he allowed the Duke team to get a 2-on-1 fast break, which they executed very well, with Bender laying the ball in the basket, and Duke is up by 5 points.
That's the biggest lead, Jeff. 31-26. Backdoor cut to Manning. Almost got away from him. Manning spinning on the side. Forced up a shot. And here's the long throw down for to Bender. Bender driving. And a foul on the play. Now Duke making its biggest surge of the game. Yes, now for Bender, and Duke has made its greatest surge of the afternoon. Now leading by 8 points. The biggest lead by either team, 34-26. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. And Maryland now finding themselves in position they're going to have to regroup. Albert King, great drive on the inside, missed the layup. King having a frustrating afternoon. And a walking violation backcourt by Banks. They remain invincible at Littlejohn. 34-26. Inside, Baldwin backs it on Gminski and scores. Baldwin scores for Maryland. 34-28. They don't hesitate to go to Baldwin, even against Gminski, Jeff.
Well, they've got a lot of confidence in him, and he's a big player. And again, Banks getting into the middle.
A super drive by Gene Banks. 36-28. Albert King back for Maryland. Rebound, Gminski has it down for Duke. Blue Devils running again with an 8-point lead. England to Vince Taylor. Taylor understepped out of bounds. Basket won't count. That was a good call by Joe Forte. Right on top of the play as Taylor stepped right on the baseline. 1:18 remaining. Dutch Morley will be in, replacing Albert King. I think Lefty recognizes Albert may be a little frustrated right here.
Good coaching. Sometimes it's a good idea when your scorer is having a tough time to get him out, let him watch the flow of the game, and then be fresh coming in back in the second half.
36-28 the score. There's Baldwin up over his man, and he's fouled by 2 shots here to Taylor Baldwin. 6'10" sophomore. Boy, this is a young Maryland team. Jeff, they start 2 sophomores, 3 juniors, and they bring in 2 sophomores off the bench.
I'd have to say they've got a great future ahead of them after a great season this year. And the thing they do so well is they play together, and Lefty's got a team that know each other. They play well together, and they're going to be awful tough the next couple of years.
Well, now Duke's going to pull it away here with a minute to go in the half. And either Maryland's going to have to come out of the zone because they're trailing. And now as long as Duke passes the ball in over that hash mark, Maryland can sit back there. But if they're going to hold it out here, then Maryland's going to have to come out and force some action. But what Bob Bender's doing there is forcing action. Ooh, a near steal by Jackson. Sometimes you get a little bit too lackadaisical.
Lefty's up off the bench telling his team to stay back in there. He's content to let Duke have the last shot and go into the locker room without any more fouls on his team and get Albert King and Ernest Graham back in the game the second half.
36-29. Now we have 10 seconds to go, so Duke now will go into action here. Down to 7 seconds. Bender's going to take the shot with 4 seconds. Going to be way short. Maryland will get it. And there's a long...
Things up a little bit. And England did play well in the first half, despite the fact that he didn't score. He was very alert defensively and made some excellent passes on the end of the break.
Ernie Graham starting the second half also for Maryland with 3 fouls. Duke opening up in his zone defense. Gave Maryland a little problems in the first half. Under now, Buck Williams. Williams goes right up as he got Banks hanging. Williams scores. That's his 15th point of the game. So Maryland immediately gets a basket. It's 36-31. Maryland a 2-3 zone. Now looking for Gminski. Buck Williams playing in front of him. Very difficult to allow. There goes Gminski right up over Williams. Williams got the rebound. Now that's been some sideshow in there, Gminski and Williams. 5-point lead by Duke. Buck Williams gets away from Gminski again. What a game Buck Williams is having. 17 points. And Maryland has come back strong to start the second half. It's now 36-33. Denard way on the outside. Rebound Williams again, and foul on the play by Bender. That's 3 fouls on Bob Bender.
Buck Williams going up very strong and with authority for that rebound. The ball goes off long. Here goes Williams up strong, making room for himself. Bender just stands there, but contact was made. The official called a foul on Bobby Bender.
Williams had 12 rebounds in the first half, and he's picked up 2 here in the second half. I'm going to try to keep count. That's 14 for him. Now here goes Albert King. Cannot shake that slump. Did not score a field goal in the first half. 36-33. England driving on the layup. Tipped up by Gminski. Pulled down by Buck Williams again. 15 rebounds. 36-33. Maryland, of course, wanting Albert King to get on track. Manning faking, feeds it on the inside to King, intercepted by Denard. Long pass down for to England. England blocked and fouled by Jackson. That'll be the first foul on Reggie. Did a great job protecting the ball there, Jeff. Something for young players to look at. Keep your body between the ball and the defender.
Reggie Jackson didn't have any choice but to foul that time to prevent 2 points.
England still got a chance to get the 2. 37-33. England can check the stretch the Duke lead back to 5. 38-33. 2 minutes gone by in the second half. Zone press by the University of Maryland.
Notice the Maryland team usually uses Ernest Graham in the middle against the press. He's a big guard. He handles the ball well, and it's hard to double team him.
What a pass from the inside. Buck Williams keeps it alive. Williams takes it up strong. And Williams again. 2 rebounds on that flurry. 38-33. Banks driving. Rebound by Williams again. Williams has 6 rebounds in 3.5 minutes of the second half. 38-33.
Early in the year, people were feeling sorry for Buck Williams having to go up against the likes of Gminski and Sampson and all the bigger centers, but he certainly has proven that he can hold his own against anyone, and he seems to be getting better and better and more confident as the season goes on.
Well, he's outscored every AC center, as we said earlier, and right now he leads Gminski in scoring in this game 17-7. 38-33. Duke's leading by 5 points in the game with 17 minutes to go. Duke kind of 1-3-1 zone. Maryland has been hesitant to take the outside shot. Albert King faking inside. That's his first basket. King scores with 16:49 to go in the ballgame.
And I saw him shake his head as he went back down the court like, I knew it could fit in there.
Finally, he said, 38-35. Bob Bender, he was hot very early. He had Duke's first 2 shots of the game from that range. Duke back to a 5-point lead again. 40-35 with 16:20 to go. Backdoor Manning cut off by Bender nicely. Now Ernest Graham, perimeter shot. Graham, of course, has had very little action in this game because of early fouls. That's his 5th point. Maryland back within 3. Gene Banks, good reverse dribble. Ball batted away, scooped up by Buck Williams. Williams on the floor with it. Hands it off the ground. And it's still going. Duke comes back with a steal. Bender checks up. Now Gminski. Gminski firing. Blocked by Williams. And they're going to call a personal foul against Maryland.
This second half for sure.
Okay, Gminski was fouled before he shot. So there'll be no free throw. Duke by 3. Man for man by Maryland. Chip England driving. Well, they're trying to get Gminski free on the inside. Maryland's done a good job bottling him up in there. Buck Williams on an overplay. Banks driving, feeds to Jaminski for the stop. Beautiful play.
Excellent drive by Gene Banks. He looked like he was stuck in the air. Buck Williams had come over to help, and he hit Buck Williams' man for a stuff by Jaminski.
42-37. Duke up by 5. And a working margin now, a little bit over Maryland. King, that left Manning free on the tipped steal. Manning continues his sharp shooting.
And that's just about a layup for Greg Manning. He's such a fine shooter. When he's left that open, he puts it in more times than not. 65%
in the field. That's what he's hitting. Now they go Jaminski low again up over Williams. Jaminski now beginning to pick up with his aggressive play. 44-39. 11 points for Jaminski. Duke back to a 5-point lead. Well, this settled down into a great battle. Buck Williams now goes in on Jaminski for the layup. Williams on a strong drive got the jump on Jaminski.
That's twice this half. Mike's been caught leaning to one side trying to overplay, and they've had a good lead pass to Buck Williams, and he's been able to take it straight to the basket.
Angle of driving. Rebound tipped outside by Albert King. Here comes Jackson on the fast break. He's going to go all the way. Jackson reverse drive. Tipped up inside by King. Albert King on the follow. 44-43. Maryland's cut it to 1 with 13.5 remaining. Maryland's done much better than man for man, don't you think, Jeff?
And both these coaches are in the game, Jim. They're both off the bench cheering their teams on, coaching them from the sidelines.
Boy, this is something, the way Banks is playing. Denard out of the corner. 46-43.
That's a big shot for Duke anytime Kenny Denard hits that jump shot, because a lot of teams are not playing him to be an out.
And Lefty comes right back in with Baldwin to rest to Williams. 46-43. 3-point lead by Duke.
I think Jaminski's suffering from something. I've been watching him run up and down the court, and he's definitely laboring out there, and Coach Bill Foster's trying to give him as much rest as he possibly can.
Albert King, quick move by King, feeds on the inside, loose ball picked up, and here goes Taylor with Jackson. Taylor driving. First basket by Taylor with 12:36 to go in the game. And it gives Duke another 5-point lead. Oh, you wouldn't want a better game than this, Jeff. A long one by Graham, but I think time had been called. Official time had been called. He had one other game against Marquette. He wasn't feeling 100%. Ernie Graham, about a 20-footer, swishes in to make it 48-45.
He's a very relaxed shooter. It looks like he's just shooting in the park the way. He doesn't matter where the defensive man is. He just takes his time, and he's a great outside shooter.
He just checked Gene Banks' drive. Jaminski and Buck Williams are both getting a rest here in the middle part of the second half. 3-point lead by Duke. Coming up later tonight, Virginia and North Carolina. Could be a crucial game for the Tar Heels, depending on how this one turns out. North Carolina still got a chance to catch Maryland. State lost a critical game today at Clemson. Now Duke trying to lull Maryland into a mistake. Banks switching under now, and there's Tissaw fouled on the play. Taylor ball.
Those shots that Banks just passed up. But today's game and the way the players play so unselfishly, they give it up so much easier and so much better than we used to 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Mike Tissaw missing on his first shot. 11:23 to go in the game. Back up to Mike Jaminski. Another rebound by Buck Williams. That's 10 on the game. 3-point lead by Duke. Maryland's been back within 1 here in the second half. As close as they can get. Well, there's some physical play on the inside here in this one. Oh, Williams has some great hands, doesn't he? Through a dangerous pass.
Good matchup inside now between Banks and Buck Williams.
Drop on the inside. Loose ball comes back out to Manning from Maryland. A tight defense here by Duke. And Ernie Graham makes a great penetration. It's not going to count. There was a foul on the play before the shot. That cost Maryland the basket. It nullifies the basket, and here goes Manning dropping on the inside. A little guy can really shoot. 48-47, and again, Maryland's within a point with 10 minutes plus to go. Look at Banks driving right up over Williams. 3-point lead by Duke, 50-47. Now 10-10 to go. Taylor Baldwin feeds on the inside. Buck Williams, little hook shot. And put up by Ernie Graham. Graham on the follow for Maryland. 9 points for Graham, 50-49.
Very alert play by Graham. Banks had gone up, but he mistimed the rebound. Graham was right behind him to get it and lay it in.
Now Maryland back in the zone at the other end. There's Jaminski and up over Williams. Mike Jaminski now really coming to life. 13 points. Williams has got 19. Back to a 3-point lead for Duke. 52-49. Manning starts his drive. Manning fires the inside. Intercepted by Banks. Banks got Taylor on the left side. Banks will hold up.
Great move by Gene Banks, taking the dribble down the length of the floor. And instead of making the pass, deciding to keep the ball, but had he gone straight to the basket, Jackson was there to draw the charge, so he shot kind of a running one-hander, keeping his balance and putting it in.
There's a walk on the inside by Taylor Baldwin. Maryland trying to work the ball to the inside, and it's turned back over to Duke. The Blue Devils now getting back in command, fighting off a Maryland challenge here. Midway in the second half, Albert King returns. 54-49, starting five back out there for Maryland. Buck Williams is back in, Albert King's back in. A lot of time yet to go, but Duke playing very strongly here with a 5-point lead. Gene Banks leading the way, fires inside Jaminski. Another assist for Banks, 15 points for Jaminski.
Sounds repetitious, but again, Banks making the pass inside.
And he just made a foul.
He picked up the slack, and in the process, I think, become a much better ball player for it, Jim.
Banks going to get a rest after the third foul. Jim Sudduth, who had been a question before this game because of knee cartilage, is back in. He's in for the first time. Ernie Graham on the outside. Rebound. There's Sudduth to get the rebound. 7-point lead by Duke at 56-49 with 8 minutes to go. Vince Taylor on the drive. Rebound, Albert King from Maryland. Buck Williams cutting right in there, and the foul is on Williams for charging. Bender drawing the charge.
Very alert play by Bobby Bender, but I don't know, Jim. It didn't look like Buck Williams had time to turn around, which he's...
This half. This race could tighten up more. North Carolina playing Virginia tonight, which will be another key game as matters now stand. Right here is Duke with a 7-point lead over Maryland with 7:45 to go. They're really sagging on Jaminski right now.
Mike working real hard for position inside.
There goes Jaminski on a charge. Jaminski backing into Williams, so that had cut off that time.
They were really battling for position. That time Buck Williams guessed right. Gave way just at the right time, and Mike was called for the charge. He was a little unhappy about that, but it looked like a good call. Buck Williams having good position.
7.5 minutes remaining, 56-49, Duke. Albert King. King works on the inside, blocked down by Bender. Another big defensive play by Bob Bender.
That's what you call good sagging or good helping defense. He came, left his man, went to help out, got a hand on the ball, and recovered it.
Bender driving. Rebound is down by Albert King. Bounce pass to Manning. Manning coming on Taylor. Manning driving. And there's a foul on the play or goaltending. I think I'm going to call a goaltend. So give Manning the basket, his 10th point.
Greg Manning is outstanding in the open floor. Changed direction one time, then changed hands, went up with his left hand. Taylor hit it just as it hit the glass. Could have been called either way.
56-51. 5-point lead by Duke. Now Maryland trying to put some pressure on. Kenny Dennard fumbles it out. Albert King forcing a turnover by Kenny Dennard. So Maryland gets the ball trailing by 5.
Here Albert King took up the slack, knocked the ball loose. Kenny tried to recover it, and it was off his fingertips.
Albert King trying to get away from Gene Banks on a charge, and what a charge he makes to the baseline to score. 56-53. Maryland has come back with 4 straight points. Over 6 minutes remaining. Duke now appears to be looking for Jaminski. Dennard on a drive short. Rebound, Buck Williams whips it off for his 11th rebound of the game. King on the break. Here's King. Cut off by Jaminski nicely. Jackson penetrating on a drive. Jackson scores. Now Maryland now in a hot stretch, and Duke may need a timeout. 5 minutes and 39 seconds. Coming up later tonight, North Carolina versus Virginia. From Carmichael Auditorium. Vince Taylor checked on his drive by Reggie Jackson. Jaminski very high. Now down low. There goes Banks. Banks draws the foul on Graham. 4 fouls on Ernest Graham. 5:20 remaining. That'll send Banks to the line.
A little switch in their offensive strategy. Jaminski out high, Banks down low, goes up strong. Graham making contact on the chest. Banks almost putting it in, but he'll get 2 free throws for his effort.
Banks was 18 points today. Got his season high this year against Clemson with 31. Duke trying to get back even in the ACC. They're 5-6 right now in 6th place. 57-55. Well, Banks will try to get it back to a 3-point lead. Averaging 17.5 points a game with almost 9 rebounds. He is second in the ACC in rebounding to Jaminski. Although Williams is second in average, he hasn't had enough games to be eligible. 58-55. Duke leads by 3. Possessions now becoming important here for Maryland. Down in the final 5 minutes of the game. Not to say they have to score every time, but Duke's playing it very close to the best also.
Duke in their sagging zone now. They want to keep that ball outside against this Maryland team.
And there's the man who can fire from the outside, Greg Manning, with his 12 points.
And that's the one guy that didn't want to leave open on the outside, but Manning switched from side to side and finally got open for a moment and put it in. 58-57. The Duke lead is 1 point with 4:35 remaining. And Maryland's going to stay back in the zone, which is not a bad decision. Now Duke's going to try to pull them away. Now Lefty says, nope, you stay right back in there. Just force a little action. Dennard looking in, and Jaminski takes one look. Gene Banks, what a pass to Dennard. Great block by King. Whoa, what a play by Albert King. Great leaping ability and great quickness coming from the weak side. Kenny Dennard didn't expect it. And Maryland has the ball with a chance to go in the lead.
I'll tell you, Jeff, Albert King's not having a good day, but he continues to make big plays for this team.
He's the kind of player that they count on down the stretch, and he showed why in that last play.
Here he is, inside Buck Williams. Ball is slammed down by Jaminski. Another great defensive play. King at one end of the court, Jaminski at the other. 58-57, Duke by a point. Lob to Jaminski, backs in on Williams. Personal foul. And here's tempers flaring a little bit out there. Jaminsky and Graham and King. Let's see if we can watch that again.
Here's it. Williams with Jaminsky. Mike getting the ball underneath. Williams getting him on the wrist on the way up, but Mike going up strong. Both players kind of throwing elbows, and Albert King got a little upset, as did Mike Jaminsky.
Fouls on Buck Williams will be his third, and Jaminsky will go to the line. Not that it means that much, but Buck Williams, of course, has his string going of outscoring opposing centers. He has 19 points. Jaminsky has 15, now 16. That little interesting tidbit also alive here in this game. 59-57. Duke free throwing has been outstanding. 60-57. Blue Devils by 3. And now this time Maryland comes down with only 3:25 to go in the game. And down by 3 points. As we say, the possession is becoming very important. Last time down, Manning hit a crucial perimeter shot. Last time they came down and set up.
Maryland being very patient.
There's Jaminsky driving. Foul from the back by Buck Williams. Now, Williams did not want to hurt him. He was the first man in there to get him. He wanted to make sure he didn't score the basket.
He didn't have any choice. They couldn't let him have the basket, and he had to reach out as far as he could and just knock Mike off balance. The big guy had such momentum going, though, that it carried him 15 feet off the court.
Now, watch it. Buck just wanted to make sure he fouled him right there, see?
Just enough to throw him off, but Mike had such speed going, it carried him about 25, 30 feet off the court, and Buck was the first player to go in after him, trying to prevent him from going down too hard.
Okay, they shook hands. Gene Banks down talking with Buck. No hard feelings on the play. Jaminsky will go up for a pair of free throws. He just hit 2 a moment ago. Jaminsky now with 17 points. And I hear a 2 would time with Williams at the moment with 19. That'll become very interesting. Three minutes to go in the game. 61-57. Duke by 4. I tell you, Duke is playing about like what this game is. They're playing for their life here today.
As we mentioned at the outset, Jim, this is a big game for them as far as momentum, getting ready for the tournament, and really salvaging the last couple weeks of the season.
Maryland's going to call a quick timeout. Or rather, the Maryland overman Lefty Driesell. Duke up by 5 points, 62-57. Mike Jaminsky now has picked up the challenge here from Buck Williams. They have 19 points apiece. Another great performance by Gene Banks, who scored 20. Someone said today, I look for Duke to upset Maryland, but Jeff, when two teams in the top 20 play each other, I couldn't call it an upset in any event if the home team wins. I wouldn't call this an upset if Duke wins.
Not with the talent and the coaching and the competitiveness of the ACC. I'd have to say this is just a great basketball game, and either team can still win. Be interesting, Jim, if Maryland, whether they score or not, whether Duke will pull it out. They've tried that the last couple weeks, and but they haven't tried it at home, and I wonder whether they'll sit on the ball and make Maryland come out and get it, or whether they'll still keep attacking offensively.
Maryland has 3 times out remaining. Duke has all 5. 62-57. Well, no, Duke has 4. 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Man for man by Duke. Maryland looking for a good shot.
Duke playing a tight man-to-man, and Denard and Banks are really trying to overplay King and Graham, the Maryland forwards.
Here's Graham working to the side. Now they want to get it to King. In on Banks. King double faking. Albert King. 62-59. Maryland hangs in there with over 2 minutes to go. 2:20. Maryland doesn't wait for them to pull it out. They're in a man-for-man. Lob to Banks. Missed the dunk. Maryland gets a chance to pull within 1. And it's Albert King feeding to Manning. Rebound, the foul's going to be on Bender, reaching over Albert King. That'll be Bob Bender's 4th foul. Nobody's fouled out of this game but Buck Williams and Ernest Graham playing with 4 apiece for Maryland. Now Bob Bender with 4 for Duke. 1:59 remaining. All right, we're going to go to the wire, it looks like.
That was a big series. Gene Banks having a good look at that, look down at the basket on that lob pass, but it wouldn't drop. Now Maryland with the ball and a chance to pull within one.
That's only a 5-team fouls against Duke, so that gives them a little edge. They can foul another time without giving up a free throw, so they can play tough defense. Lob inside Buck Williams, and it's batted out of bounds by Denard. That saved the basket for sure. Williams had gotten behind the defense. 1:42 remaining. 3-point lead by Duke.
Referee is checking with Kenny Denard. He's been holding his chest like he might have gotten an elbow. Just checking to see if he was all right.
That's a big possession here for Maryland. And it's Greg Manning again. Tipped in by King. And they're not going to count it. They're going to say offensive interference by King. A basket will not count. I'll tell you, Jeff, I thought he got it outside and took it in. Look,
here's Manning's shot, and it hits the back of the rim and bounds very high. Albert King alertly knifes between everybody, times it well.
That was a good call.
Yes, it was. It was over the one half of the cylinder.
Excellent call. A foul's been called on Albert King on the inbounds pass. That's 3 fouls on King with 1:26 to go. Duke in the driver's seat now with a 3-point lead and a free throw coming on the 1-and-1. 62-59.
And that was a key basket, the one that was just taken away from Maryland, obviously, and it's a tribute to that third official because he's the one that's got to be in position to call that, and he's the one that called it that time.
That was absolutely an excellent call. Now Duke will have Bob Bender at the free throw line. He's 1 for 1 today, 11 points. He has 4 out of his last 5 games. He scored in double figures. Rebound, Buck Williams, taken away by Denard for a layup. Rebound by King. King fights out, and he's fouled on the play by Bender. That's going to be all for Bender, and that could be a big loss for Duke down the final moments. 11 points for Bender. He goes out, and there's still 1:20 to go, and this game isn't over yet.
Well, they certainly need Bobby Bender's floor leadership. As you mentioned earlier, Duke is not in the penalty yet, so Maryland will take the ball out of bounds.
That's 16 fouls now on Duke. On Bender, not the 5th, so Bob Bender's still in the lineup with 1:20 to go. Oh, I apologize for the error, but somewhere we mixed up a foul on Bob Bender. Still has just 4. 62-59, 3-point lead by Duke, and Maryland will have the ball, and now both teams in the bonus. If there's any more fouling in this game. Morley and Manning in backcourt for Maryland with Graham, King, and Williams in the front court. Man-for-man defense by Duke, keeping on the pressure. Albert King, Buck Williams right over Jaminski, 21 points for Williams. 62-61. Maryland kills the clock with 1:07 to go. So Maryland losing one of its 3 remaining timeouts.
Got a long 1:07 to go, and a lot of things can happen in this last closing minute.
Maryland playing. They're not really going all out. They're in a zone trap right now at midcourt. They're trying to set up a zone trap. There's the trap. Maryland, or Duke saw it immediately. Duke is spreading out. Now they're going to spread the Maryland defense and make them chase. We're inside the minute. 50 seconds remaining. Gene Banks faking. Now 40 seconds to go. You can imagine they picked out somebody they want to foul. 35 seconds to go. Duke looking for a wide open. 30 seconds to go. Very effective.
Duke doing a good job of moving the ball before the double team gets there. Maryland might have to get into a man-to-man because they're not getting close enough to the offensive players to cause much problem.
There's the foul as Morley cutting behind Jaminski fouled him. Well, I'm surprised they picked out Jaminski the way he can shoot.
I would have thought they'd have gone for Denard or Taylor. And they had a couple opportunities, but they didn't want to, perhaps they didn't want to take the foul too early.
Jaminski's had 4 straight free throws and 5 out of 6 for the game. Now he'll be up for the 1-and-1 with 16 seconds to go. Well, there's just not many bad free throwers on this Duke team. Banks is 4 for 4 today. Jaminski, one of the best in the clutch, 84%, has 20 points for Jaminski. He's become the 5th all-time scorer in ACC history today, passing up Wake Forest, Lenny Chappell. 3-point lead, 21 points for Jaminski. Now 15 seconds to go, and Maryland has asked for timeout. With 12 seconds to go, Maryland killed the clock, so they're going to set up a for first place. Will return home on Wednesday to play Wake Forest. Maryland's ball at midcourt. They'll have to try to score quickly and call timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining with 12 seconds to go. Here it is to Albert King, and it is off his foot out of bounds, but it's going to be off the foot of Gene Banks. 9 seconds to go. That had cost Maryland 3 precious seconds.
As you mentioned, Jim, they're going to have to put the ball up quick wherever they get it inbounds, get the basket, and then call timeout and look for the steal.
Maryland questioning how they lost 3 seconds, but they had the ball in play for that long before it went out of bounds. Very little time here for the Terrapins, trailing by 3 points. It'll be Manning. Manning driving the baseline, and it is blocked by Jaminski. Banks on the feed out to Taylor. Duke will win it. Here's Taylor driving to score. 66 to 61. A foul on the play. Duke has won the ball game. They've defeated the University of Maryland. Our Holly Farms player of the game is Gene Banks of Duke University. A very big victory for the Blue Devils today. Gives them 6-6, 18th win on the season. So there's the final score. Duke 66, Maryland 61, and this has been a C.D. Chesley production.